Everybody, this is Sean B. Bradley. Please introduce yourself.
Matt Sears,
Okay, what organization are you with?
Deep Holes Auto Group.
Okay, and where are you located out of?
I'm Charleston, Illinois.
Okay, and you just flew in all the way from Illinois to spend the entire day here at Dealer Synergy headquarters, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you guys take a look, we're at my desk. There goes Crystal, the assistant, and then Karen is over there somewhere.
Hello.
There goes Karen. All right, so basically, Matt, what we want to do is we spent today going through, we did a full, thorough assessment before you got here. We evaluated your social media relevancy. We evaluated your search engine optimization. We evaluated your CRM, your website provider. Your CRM provider are the same company, Vint Solutions. We actually did 4 different mystery shop phone calls, recorded, graded, and we went through an onslaught of information. So this is the exit right here. Okay, and I'm actually going to put this right on Automotive Internet Sales on the front page, not the back end page. So we don't want to give secrets away, all right? But I want you to ask questions that other people might have as well. All right, so first and foremost, we just went through some social media stuff, but you had a question. I thought it was a really good one that prompted me to do this. You had asked, what's the roof? Meaning, explain that question.
What I mean by that is you've seen, in many cases, this explosive growth, and then after that, you're going to continue to see an uptake. But at some point in time, we as a dealer are going to see that plateau again. And my question is, out of all of the consulting, what's the common denominator on what provides that final ceiling or that final plateau after all this is in place?
Okay, again, if I'm understanding correctly, you know, it's called the point of diminishing return.
Absolutely.
When do you find or when do you hit the point of diminishing return? Well, believe it or not, sky's the limit when 92 to 99% of Americans are going online before they step foot into the dealership. So what you've got to be able to, you know, understand and appreciate that there really isn't a limit. Now, technically there is, but what I would say is this, is that you need to turn and look at your market and figure out who is the biggest, baddest fish. You don't have to mention the name unless you want to, but what is the biggest store anywhere in the next 40 miles away from you selling a month?
2.25.
Okay, so you have a big dealership that is selling 225. Is that new and used or just new?
New end use.
Okay, so then I can tell you right off the bat, you know, if your dealership is doing 100 and how many?
20.
Okay, if your dealership is doing 120, then you have another 105 units that you could theoretically go against. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start there. What are your franchises right now?
Full engine motors, so Buick, Chevrolet, GMC, and Cadillac.
Okay, so you have all those franchises. GM is in the top 4 brands. It could be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. It depends who you ask. Just like, what's the best military, you know, branch? I'm going to say Army because I was in the reserves and RTC. But Marine is going to say Marine. Navy is going to say Navy. Air Force is going to be delusional and say them. Just kidding. I respect you guys too. But the idea is same thing here. Is that, you know, whoever you ask is going to have a different opinion. But GM officially is in the top 4 brands. You know, General Motors or Chevy, Ford, Toyota and Honda are the top 4 brands, top, you know, 4 internet brands especially. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So you own or you're part of one of the top 4 brands on the planet, first of all. Second of all, you've got a good diversity. With Buick, GMC, and Cadillac, you could hit. You know, Buick, it definitely is a domestic, obviously, but again, it's a good complement or good counter solution to some, you know, some import brands. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then Cadillac, again, depending who you ask, is a highline vehicle. You know, I actually had a 2004 CTS, and I had a 2008 CTS, and I had a 2010 Camaro SS. So I'm a GM person on a domestic level, personally. Then I traded them for 2 highline imports. I know, it's shot, but whatever. The idea here is that you got to understand is that you have natural competitors. So you've just got to ask yourself, have you hit full threshold for new sales? And it's a rhetorical question because I know the answer is no. It's hell no right now. Are you selling all of the Buick, GMC, Cadillac, and Chevrolets that you could possibly sell in your market?
No.
Okay. Now the next question is, okay, so the first point that you're going to hit of diminishing return is not total opportunity. The first point of diminishing return that you're going to hit is your PMA saturation. Now remember that. Okay, that's going to happen first. So you've got to figure out what does your primary market area hold. How many cars, new and pre-owned is a whole nother gambit right there, but how many cars can you sell franchise within your primary market area? That's the first rhetorical question. Second thing you need to ask yourself is, okay, once I've hit that wall, what else can I do? Traditionally, after you hit that point of diminishing return for new car sales in your primary market area, you have two options, or a third option, which is hybrid. Okay, the first option is that you could expand your PMA. So let's say your PMA, your primary market area, was roughly about 10, 20, 30 miles, whatever it is, circumference around the dealership. If you want to sell more cars after you hit that wall of diminishing return, you're going to have to go to 40, 50 miles or 50, 60 miles. I have dealerships that sell 80 miles. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's the best strategy, but that is an opportunity. It is a possibility that you could actually go further outside of your PMA. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, option two is that you could start conquesting. Again, you are the natural competitor of Ford. I'm your friend. You know what I mean? You are a client. You're here. So guess what? Chevy's the best. It's like, I forgot one of the comics that said that when they were working for Coca-Cola doing commercials, Coke tastes the best. And then when Pepsi sponsored them, Pepsi tastes the best. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little joke, but my point being is that, Ford has been voted the #1 selling vehicle for 30 plus years, the F-150. You are aware of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't mean it's a better vehicle. That just means that that's what they've been voted. So you have the opportunity to go head to head with a Ford F-150. As a matter of fact, you've got two vehicles. You've got a GMC Sierra, is that correct?
Correct.
And you've got the Chevy Silverado. So you've got two opportunities to crush and conquest Ford F-150s. And then between all the other models that you have, from Chevy, from Buick, from GMC, from Cadillac, you could conquest the rest of the Ford lineup. And on top of that, you can go after, Honda and Toyota. For example, I think the Malibu all day long could go head to head with a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
That's my point. So in option one, remember, was to expand your PMA. Option two is start to conquest. You've got to remember that, over 73% of people are cross-shopping. Over 73% of people are cross-shopping the brands. So if you've got somebody looking for an F-150, they are looking at other brands. If you are not marketing and advertising and saturating the prospect that is looking to buy your competitors, you're leaving money on the table. So when you factor that in, if you factor in dominating your market, A, B, expanding your market, and C, conquesting your other competing brands within your PMA and the expanded PMA, and that means option three is the hybrid, doing both. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, it's going to get crazy. Now, okay, let's talk about used cars. Used cars are the #1 way to differentiate yourself. It's the #1 way to sell internet vehicles or internet units because they're inventory-based opportunities, which means, this is really important. I want you to, this signifies I want you to be paying attention to this part of the video, okay, is that if they're inventory-based opportunities, there are no two vehicles like your pre-owned vehicle on the planet. Make sense? So again, what you want to be able to do is make sure that you have all your used cars evangelized all over the internet. That does not mean just AutoTrader or just Cars.com. I'm talking about Auto by Tel's used car program. I'm talking about Dealix, which is usedcars.com. I'm talking about Cars Direct's used car program. I'm talking about, obviously besides Craigslist, you've got eBay Local. You've got other auction sites. Matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but Walmart has a classified section that you can put used cars on. There's a myriad of other used car places that you could evangelize each and every one of your vehicles. The key to used car business is having inventory-based opportunity indexed. Rewind that. Inventory-based opportunities that are indexed. So the way that you win the used car game is by having your inventory all over the internet. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, but there's more. There's more. Okay, then you got special finance. Special finance, and I got to tell you, I absolutely detest dealers' negative approach to special finance. I worked at a Nissan, Kia, Cadillac dealership. That's where I made my bones. Pine Belt Automotive in Toms River, New Jersey. Nissan, Kia, Cadillac. That was one of the biggest stores that I worked in. It was a dealer group. They did a tremendous amount of units. And what we did is we had a Nissan, Kia showroom, then we had a Cadillac showroom, and then we had a Cadillac used cars. We were doing 75 subprime deals at $3,500 a copy. Chris Frizani, also just a whole bunch of amazing people at Pine Belt. And I want to just tell you this right now, is that you have the opportunity to dominate special finance. Special finance does not mean, and I hate these words, so don't use these. I'm saying these as examples, not the way that I believe. Bogues, mooch, roaches, rats, and all that stuff. That's not the case. Special finance, just to educate you all, are people that have less than perfect credit. I don't know if you know this or anybody else watching this video, but according to Greg Goebel and the whole world of special finance people and the special finance convention and all that stuff that I go to all every year, is that blows me away. Over 72% of all used cars that are financed, over 72% of all used car financed in this country is to people that have less than a 640 credit score. So technically, think about that. Almost all the used cars, almost 3/4 of the used cars that are financed are to people that have less than a 640. You might think, well, at our dealership, a 500 is subprime. No. Look up the definition. Under 640 is considered subprime or, less than perfect credit. So you want to be able to have an organization that not only finances and sells cars to people that have 700s or 680s or stuff like that. You want to be able to handle people that have less than perfect credit. I'm not talking about degenerates or crackheads or stuff like that. And I don't mean no disrespect. I'm just saying, like, people get this negative connotation. But you got to understand, the housing market took a huge hit, which is the real estate market, obviously. The finance industry, like Wall Street, took a huge hit. Their divorce rates are higher than ever. Over 50% of people get divorced. So between divorce, the real estate, the investment community, all this stuff, man, there's a lot of people that have suffered, in the last 5 or 6 years. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So, and think about it. If you have people, I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, rap stars, NBA, NFL athletes. I mean, there's people that are technically rich. They make a lot of money, but they don't have the best credit. I mean, again, so special finance to me is not just the most desperate situation. It's people that have a bad credit score, that have had bad circumstances happen. And believe it or not, there's a lot of these people that have got bad credit or credit issues that have stroke. They've got down payment money to put down. So again, you need to really consider a special finance online initiative. So if you combine dominating your market, if you combine expanding your primary market area, if you combine conquesting in your PMA and expounding your PMA, and you consider evangelizing your used cars, and then you consider a heavy special finance initiative, you will be able to crush it. Now, based on what I just said, your question is, where's the roof? Was that correct?
That is correct.
Now, with my explanation of where I see the roof is, how much potential does your organization have before they touch the roof?
There's not one.
That's my point. Okay, the other thing I want you to think about is this. AutoTrader is a $1 billion company, and they're a website, man. That's it. They're a website. They have no cars themselves. They have no dealership. They have no people. They have no service departments. They're a website. How the hell can you make $1 billion off a website? God bless you. I'm proud of you. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? As far as just that concept. So if AutoTrader could become a $1 billion company without that, you have a new car department, a used car department, a fixed ops department. You've got people. You've got inventory. Do you see what I'm saying? You can do something similar on a local level. I'm not saying a national level and $1 billion level, but you could be the AutoTrader, metaphorically speaking, of your area. You could dominate. Example number 2, Auto USA. Auto USA is one of the top third-party providers and aggregators in the country, and they are owned 100% by AutoNation. How is the largest publicly traded dealer group in the country owned, I think, the number 2 or number 3 third-party provider in the country? There's a reason for it. They understand that controlling their own advertising and marketing and lead generation is imperative. I wouldn't even worry about your local competitors and dealerships, man. I would be looking at successful $1 billion companies and $100 million companies like AutoNation, Auto USA, AutoTrader to model your online initiative after. I think that having a diversified marketing approach to maximize your visibility and minimize your risk in your dollars is important. I think that you could sell more cars more profitably and more often from the 8 hours that we've been working here, drilling through all your data, minimizing your average cost per lead, average cost per sale. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Okay. let's stop this one video because that was